Drop it off. Okay, so this video, I'm going to do a story video about one of the coolest hunts that I've had in a long, long time. It was a hunt that happened last year. I think it was November 12th is when it was. No, it was November 17th is when it was. I was hunting in a spot where a couple months or a couple weeks earlier, I had seen a really, really big buck. So I was sitting there, I was hunting next to this big treetop. I was sitting on the ground, and there was this big stump that looked like it had been caught on fire or been struck by lightning or something. And I was sitting right up next to it. I had my chair leaned up against it like this right here, and then I had two littler trees right here beside me. I was hunting with my bow, and there behind the trees, or behind the tree that I was leaning up against, was a big treetop that had been cut down many, many years ago. Well, I was hunting right there, and the morning I seen two does, and I thought maybe they would come back and have more scent in the area. So I went back in there on the evening hunt, and so I waited and I hunted for a long time, without seeing anything. And all of a sudden I looked up, and there's a doe walking about maybe 50, 60 yards away. And I thought, okay, so the does are still moving. Maybe the bucks are too. So I was sitting there, and I was sitting there all quiet and everything, and then I just had this feeling that I needed to look over to my right. And I look over just like this right here, and all I see is these big legs of a deer walking, and you could see that they were just huge legs. They look like a really, really big mature deer. And I seen that, and I was like, that has to be a buck. As big as them legs are, I've never seen a deer that had so big round legs. It looked like it was almost weird looking seeing the big old legs on a deer. And I knew it had to be a big body deer, and I was thinking it was a buck. So I stood up. I had this feeling that something was going to happen. So I stood up, and I was sitting there, and I waited for a long time and didn't see anything else. And I grabbed my grunt call, and I made a couple grunts, and everything went quiet after that. And I leaned up against a tree. I was thinking, what in the world happened? If it was a buck, it would have came to the cause, I would have thought. And then I got to thinking, well, maybe he's on that doe. Maybe I didn't see him behind that doe. So I sat there for about maybe 3, 4 minutes, and all of a sudden I look over back where that buck was at, and there's this little maple sapling, and it stands about maybe 6 feet tall. And all of a sudden that thing just started shaking, like somebody walked over there, grabbed it, and just started shaking it, really violently shaking it. I was thinking that was a buck. That buck's over there shaking that tree. And it was really shaking that tree really hard. And I was thinking, okay, so there is a buck in this area. So I grabbed my grunt call again and grunted 3 low grunts. And didn't see nothing, and all of a sudden the woods exploded, it seemed like. A doe came running right by me at 10 yards, and then there was two bucks right behind her, and they were running so fast. They were running so fast that I was almost surprised that they never hit a tree or nothing. I mean, they were running really fast, and they were running to where if they were running right in front of you, you would have to be over here by the time you see them. They would run so fast that you really couldn't even keep up with them with your head turned. They were really fast, and they were running down through the woods, and that doe almost looks like she was hovering across the ground, and she was running, and that buck was right behind her, and then there was another one behind her, and they were both good sized deer, and one of them I knew was bigger than the one I shot before this, and the other one I didn't really know because I couldn't tell, he was running too quick, and all of a sudden they went back up behind me and around me, then they went back over across the road, ran back over there, came back to me, and the doe and the biggest buck ran around the treetop behind me, and then here come I was sitting in this area where right over here was a little patch of what I call sticker bushes, so thorn bushes, and they were sitting right over here, and then there was the treetop behind me, and basically the only area that I was going to use for a shooting lane was right here where I'm sitting in, and so this deer decides he's going to try to cut off the other buck and the doe, and he runs straight at me. Now I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? Should I try to kill this deer, or should I just wait, see what's going to happen? So I wait and see what's going to happen, and this deer stops dead in his tracks. He just stops, and he's sitting here, and I measured it actually a couple weeks earlier after that all happened. I measured where he was from where I was sitting. It was 7 feet exactly, almost exactly 7 feet, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, this deer is right here. What do I do? Do I pull back and try to shoot him, or do I just let him walk off? So he just sits there, and I had there was a stick right in front of his feet, and I told myself in the back of my mind, if he goes across that stick, I'm going to shoot him, because I don't want something that big that close to me, where he can just run and tackle me basically. So I'm sitting here, and he finally walks off, and he literally jumps right in the middle of this treetop, and so I'm like, okay, that's cool. And by the time I finally get turned around to see them, where that other buck and that doe had went, they were already gone. And then after that other buck that almost ran me over ran off, I was sitting there. I was thinking, wow, that was really awesome. It was a pretty cool hunt. So I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, here come two spikes walking right next to me, and they walked probably maybe 10, 15 yards, and they were looking for what was happening. And then I seen a big 6-pointer, and then I seen a big, nice 8-pointer, probably 150-inch 8-pointer. And so I was sitting there thinking, wow, that was really neat. And getting to see all these deer, and had one at literally 7 feet from me. And I was really excited about it. And I've never had something like that happen, and I haven't had it since, but it was only last year. I wish I had a video camera to where I could videoed it. It was awesome. It would have been really awesome. It would have been a really cool video to post on YouTube. And so I didn't shoot any deer, and I completely left out this huge chunk of this video. One of the other reasons why I didn't shoot the buck that almost ran me over was he was a pale horned. He had real white antlers, and he had it came up. He's about probably that wide. He came up with his main beams, and then he had about maybe 7 or 8 inches of his main beam on his right side completely snapped off. He had no brow tines because they'd been broken off, and then he had another point that was broken in half on his left side. He was very broken up, and the other buck, I don't know what he was, but I honestly, truthfully think that the other buck was the one that I shot the very next month. I think it was December 13th, or no, December 7th. I ended up shooting another buck, which I think was the one that was with the one that I almost got ran over with. And that's kind of a mouthful to say, but I actually kind of do, because they were set basically the same. They were tall, not super wide, but they were tall. And that's what I think anyway happened, was I ended up killing him later on in the year. But that's the story. I didn't end up killing anything, but it was still probably one of the best hunts I've had. I hope you guys liked the video. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like or a comment. Give me some suggestions on videos and stuff like that. Thanks for watching.